the point? Like, what is it that we're chasing? And more importantly, what is it that we're truly looking for? Well, to start us off, we're going to read a page from my favorite book, The Pivot Year by Brianna Wiest. Day 3. One day, you will realize that happiness is not what your house looks like, but how you love the people within its walls. Happiness is not finding success by a certain time, but finding something you love so much, time itself seems to disappear. Happiness is not thinking that you have earned the world's approval, but waking up each day and feeling so at peace within your own skin, quietly anticipating the day ahead, unconcerned with how you are perceived. Happiness is not having the best of everything, but the ability to make the best of anything. Happiness is knowing you are doing what you can with what you are given. Happiness is not something that comes to you when every problem is solved and all things are perfectly in place, but in the shining silver linings that remind us that the light of the day is always there if you slow down enough to notice. I will say it time and time again. The Pivot Year has to be my favorite book I've ever read. I believe this book alone is the reason why this year has been so transformative for me. I'm so grateful for my 29th year of life. I really, really woke up this year, and I really think that this book has a lot to do with it. So thank you so much for Brianna Wiest for your consistent words of wisdom every single morning. And you guys, I promise I did not mean to start us off with just a little sprinkle of existential dread today for this episode, but I wanted to get us in the right mood, right? I wanted to start the conversation off the way that it should be started. And when I read that page of The Pivot Year, I was like, she's talking about happiness and like what happiness truly is and what it isn't. So maybe it won't feel so sad. But even reflecting and writing my notes down for this episode, I got a little sad for my previous self. And the reason for that is because today's episode is about hustle culture recovery specifically. This may not come as a shock to any of you that have been following me on the internet for a little while, but I absolutely fell victim to hustle culture. I don't know if it was the internet's fault. I think that there is something inside of me that just has that in me, but I think I've healed. And I think I've done a lot of digging, and I think I've done a lot of learning and trying to ask myself the right questions to figure out what it is that I truly want and what I'm actually after. So, I'm going to give you guys a little background. As a person, I have to be good at whatever it is that I'm doing. I'm just that kind of person. I always thought that it was that I have a competitive nature, but I realized that it might actually be a little bit of fear that's happening, and maybe that's why I'm like this and why I am the way that I am. I don't know if it's because I was afraid of being made fun of, afraid of feeling stupid, afraid of feeling inadequate, and afraid of feeling insignificant, but ever since I was a little kid, I have felt the need to succeed at anything that I am doing almost instantaneously. And I've recognized that from a couple of relationships that I've been in where my partners have literally asked me, like, did I have fun? And I always just thought that it was my competitive side coming out and being like, well, I didn't do good at this, or oh, I could have done better at that, or blah, 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 whatever. And like constantly pushing myself to do more and to do better all the time, no matter what it was. It could be something that I was brand new at. I just felt the need to succeed like right away. And I always thought that that was like an admirable quality about myself. But I recognized that I don't know how to have fun. There's like nothing that I ever would just do for fun, whether I sucked at it or I was good at it. Like if I wasn't good at something, I wasn't having fun doing it. I honestly think that that is the reason that I disappeared from the internet for like 9 months when I deactivated all my accounts. I was burnt out. And I know that burnout is like its own topic, right? And everybody gets burnt out nowadays, right? We all do too much all the time, and then eventually we get so sick of it that we're just so dead dog tired that we're like, I can't even do this anymore, and I just need to literally like lay in a dark room without my phone and not talk to anybody for 3 days. For me, that was like for 9 months, but I think I did a lot of healing within that 9 months, and I asked myself the right questions. So I want to start off by asking, what is it that we're chasing? And what's the point? Like, what is it that we are truly looking for? That we feel the need to rush ourselves and deplete all of our energy to get to the top the quickest. You, like, I have been doing that for years. I've been doing that to myself for years, for as long as I can remember. And the reason that I get sad when I think about that is because I can't even look back at the journey and smile. I just remember how stressed out I was. I only think about the fact that I was exhausted the whole time with everything that I did. It doesn't matter if I was going bowling with friends. I was mentally exhausted because the whole time that I'm bowling, I'm trying to figure out how I can get better so I can get a strike. It's not even fun for me when I turn around and I didn't get a spare or a strike and everybody's like trying to hype me up or like laughing or like whatever. Like, that's not fun for me. Like, I get anxiety and like I can literally feel myself sweating and feeling like people are judging me and like I needed to do better or like I need to have an excuse as to why I didn't do good. Bitch, it's bowling. Like, nobody cares. We're here to have fun. Same thing with like roller skating. I will only rollerblade because I'm not good at roller skating. And like, I'll fall if I roller skate. Why am I so afraid of falling? Why am I so afraid of being embarrassed that I fell? Why do I have to be good at everything? And now I know these sound like either extremely simple observations or really, really big questions over super simplistic things. But I didn't start thinking like this until I took a step back from the internet. When I deactivated my accounts for 9 months, I honestly deactivated my accounts because my algorithm was doing some crazy shit. And I was like, this is not good for my mental health. I got to get the fuck out of here. And so I deactivated my accounts and I went dark for a while, for as long as I felt like I needed to. And it was great for me. It taught me how to stop being so performative. It taught me how to just live for myself and reconnect with the things that truly meant something to me. Now, this weekend, I was gone. I was out of town. And I got this huge, sudden burst of motivation. It's like the fire was lit under my ass again for everything all at once. A fire was lit for work. A fire was lit for content creation. A fire was lit for podcasting. A fire was lit for editing. I worked on my website. Like, by the time that I got back to my hotel, I was like, oh no, is it happening again? I thought that I healed from all of this. Like, I thought that I did the work and that this wasn't going to happen to me anymore. I thought that this is where I stood now and that I'm good and that I've been healing and that I wasn't going to revert back to this. But I'm recognizing that that's just kind of like a part of who I am, which is why I don't think that it was entirely the internet's fault. I think that I just have that motivation and that fire inside of me, generally speaking. I mean, it's kind of like the pilot light is always on. But I think I figured out the important question. You guys, I have a lot of notes for this episode, and I think that it is because I have literally been living it. And stepping away from the online space for the 9 months that I did really gave me a chance to create a new normal for myself. But I really think that my new sense of normal has been being carved out for years. Like, my gap between 2022 to just about 2026 was huge. Absolutely huge. Like, those 4 years were so transformative and just made me question so much and answer so many questions that I didn't even know that I had. But I have an additional page from the pivot year. I have quite a few pages that have inspired this episode today that I feel like just fit in really well. So bear with me. I'm going to read out loud again. You are here to carve out a new way of the unknown. You are here to defy what's expected and create a new normal, one where you feel inherently free, to not see external challenges as absolute dead ends, but to discover the quiet resilience you cultivate as you work your way around them. You are here to nurture the feeling of a life most fully lived would give you in your chest, not what you would imagine it would appear in someone else's eyes. Oh my gosh, Brianna, on top of it all the time, every single time. When I tell you that page specifically tickled my neurodivergence, oh my gosh. I am always worried about how I'm being perceived by neurotypical people. I'm always wondering if I make sense. I'm always wondering if somebody is picking up what I'm putting down. I'm always wondering if what I'm saying resonates or if I should just stop talking. I'm always wondering if someone's following. I'm always wondering if I'm being too much. And it's not just when I'm in a regular day-to-day conversation or just when I'm podcasting or just when I'm hosting a YouTube video, or it's all of the time. Even when it comes to me posting on my own account online, I'm wondering how I'm being perceived by other people. Not necessarily because I care about what they think, but just because I want to make sure that I'm connecting with someone. And that's what I really learned in my time offline. And I think that I finally came to this conclusion when I decided to get back online. Because, of course, I asked myself, why? Why is it that you're getting online? What is it that you're chasing? What is it that you're looking for by getting online? And the answer was connection. And that's the difference. When I was online before, I got a lot of attention, but not a lot of connection. And attention is temporary. Attention doesn't feel good. And it might have been my own fault. I think that what I do for work naturally put a lot of attention on me, being a stunt driver. And this is kind of where my weekend away kind of ties into this, because I was on a stunt driving job this weekend and I was talking to another stunt performer. We became very good friends and just kind of sat and questioned life together and got really introspective. And it was so healing for me and so great to be able to gain that kind of insight from another performer that's in a similar position in life that I am, around the same age as me as well. It was a very niche experience that I don't think I'll ever be able to emulate with anyone else. And I'm so grateful for it, because it, like I said, it lit a fire under my ass again, and it remotivated me entirely, just feeling like I connected with someone and feeling like somebody really understood me and really heard me, right? And that's when I realized that, like, I come across people in my industry all the time, and I get so many kudos from them and so much praise from them for, you know, all of my accomplishments and what I've done in my career so far. And it feels so much different, and it always has felt so much different than the genuine connection that I made over this weekend. And it's because that's attention. It's not connection, it's attention. And it doesn't mean that attention can't turn into connection, but it's what you do with it and how you treat it and how you decide to move forward with it that makes the difference. And I think that in my previous time online as Helmet Hair, I was gaining a lot of attention, but I was so afraid of being vulnerable and being my true, fullest version of myself, being afraid that people wouldn't like it, or that it wouldn't resonate, or that it wouldn't make sense to that specific audience that I was kind of catering to in a way, that I just hid that. And then it fizzled out, because I fizzled out, because I got burnt out, because I wasn't living authentically. And it doesn't mean that what I was creating wasn't authentic to me and who I was. It's just that I go way deeper than that. And because I was forcing myself to stay at this surface level because of the algorithm and because of what the internet likes, that I got burnt out. And that's how I became a victim of hustle culture. Now I'm reading a second book, okay? Because like the pivot year is great, but it's really meant for you to read like a page a day, right? So I have a second book that I've been reading. Some of you may recognize this. This is The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I have a little bit of beef with this book, or I have up until this point. This is my third attempt at reading The Creative Act. It is not an easy read by any means. It is extremely poetic and so in depth. And also, there's so many analogies in this book. You have to be locked all the way in every single time that you read it, or you're not going to get it. And when I tell you, like 3 to 5 pages can make you think for 3 to 5 days, I mean it. This entire book of mine is entirely annotated. Like, there is writing on every single page. There's underlines, there's scribbles. I've changed words to make it make more sense to me. I've highlighted things. I write after every single chapter. There's a blank page after the poem that he writes for each chapter. I write on the back of the poem page that's just blank all of my thoughts about the entire chapter. It is so in depth. But anyways, I wrote down a couple of notes from this chapter because I think I could make a whole episode based off of this chapter alone. But my big underlines were that we are all similar as human beings, right? And this guy, Carl Rogers, says, the personal is the universal. We're attracted as human beings to shared experience, including imperfection, which is why it's so important for us to express ourselves, whether our thoughts are going to be wrapped up in a pretty package or not. Think about this. Would you rather get a extremely well thought out gift from someone that they have been planning to gift to you for months? They got this idea months ago, and then they just forgot to wrap it and they gave it to you. Or would you rather get a perfectly presented gift basket with a bunch of one-time use items? Right? I say that to say because us making a point isn't always important. I think the context of what we're saying is what's most important. I think that the connection that we are making, and if the words that we're saying are resonating, it's what's most important. I don't think that, he says it in this book too, that people don't like to be told what to think or how to feel. That's not the point. And sometimes us having a point of view and trying to portray that point of view on purpose often leads to false representation of our point of view. Now, where I guess I was going with that is that it's okay for us to be imperfect. Not everything that we do has to be like a picture perfect representation and be, super duper polished for the internet. And the thing is like, we're so attracted to shared experience, and the reason that we connect with things that people create on such a personal level is because we all just want to be heard and understood. All we want to do is connect with each other and feel like somebody else understands us and somebody else gets us and not feel so crazy. And like, who we are deep down inside is what should inform our work. That's what should motivate what we do. So we should allow that to lead us, not the pressure from the rest of the world, not the external pressures that we're constantly facing to do better, be more, be greater, bigger, better, faster, stronger. That's not the point, right? Now, if you're watching the video version of this podcast, you may have noticed I have a hat sitting right here next to me. It's one of my favorite hats that I've ever owned. And it says, pressure is a privilege. And I kind of agree with that. I, as a person, thrive under pressure. I tend to do really well, really fast when I'm under an immense amount of pressure. Any pressure at all, honestly, actually will light that fire inside of me to get something done. And I thought that I agreed with this statement, but then I started thinking about hustle culture. I was actually going to wear this hat during this episode today. And then I started thinking about it and I was like, is pressure a privilege? Because in hustle culture, we feel so much pressure to do great and constantly level up. And it helps us discover what we're capable of and attain goals that we may not have even known that we had in the first place. But is it actually authentic to our soul? Like our soul connection that we have to this life? Like, is the pressure pushing us towards something that we feel is deeply meaningful to us? Or is it pulling us away from ourselves? Because if it's not, what's the point? Right? Like, is it just to meet external expectations? Like, I even think about it for myself and I'm like, was hustling so hard pushing me towards my most authentic version of myself? Or was it pulling me away from what truly matters to me? And it's the answer is kind of both. Was the pressure pushing me towards the most authentic version of myself? In hindsight, yeah, because if I hadn't been so pressured by hustle culture and by myself and by these external like expectation and the external validation that I felt like I was constantly chasing after, which was everyone else's approval but my own, I wasn't even questioning if I actually wanted to do with anything that I was doing. It just felt like what I was supposed to be doing for myself, for my career, as the next step, for whatever it was. It just felt like that was the linear path that I was supposed to be going down. And so I was just doing that because the point was to get better as fast as possible. So was that hustle and was that pressure actually pushing me towards my most authentic version of myself? Kind of no, because I wasn't being true to myself. I didn't even know if those were the things that I wanted. So technically, it was pulling me away from my most authentic version of myself because I wasn't asking myself these deeper questions and I wasn't doing the other things that I loved because I was so tunnel vision focused on what I thought I wanted. But I wanted the result. I wasn't enjoying the journey. And I, quite frankly, wasn't even focused on learning anything from the journey. I just wanted to get to the top as fast as I could to be successful and not feel like I was going to be so stressed out forever. But on the other hand, that pressure is what pushed me to the point of reflection that I've been at now. And this is the most authentic version of myself that I've ever lived in. So, is the pressure really a privilege or not? And another question is like, does hustling actually stem from us wanting to feel understood and connected and seen amongst each other? Is that what it's really about? Because what is the point of getting to the top as fast as possible? Is it so we can finally feel relaxed? Because once we're there, there's no way we're going to feel relaxed. You're just constantly going to be going after more and more and more and more. That's how we're conditioned. But realistically, we all want to connect, right? Like, think about it. The applause is only temporary. So the intention that you might be gaining from hustling so hard is temporary. Because the moment that you've leveled up, you're going to feel like you're at a plateau again until you level up again. And then you'll get the applause again, and then you're going to feel like you're at a plateau. And then you have to level up again, and then you'll get the applause again that you're chasing, that dopamine hit, right? Like that quick dopamine. But then you're going to plateau. And they always say, like, it's lonely at the top, right? I hate that this podcast, sometimes I just bring in the most cliche shit. Man, it drives me nuts. But it's so true. Like, I'm recognizing that these cliches are cliches for a reason, and that these are lifelong things that people have said all of our lives for a reason. But if it's lonely at the top, It's because, yeah, not everyone can make it to the top, right? If we're going to go down that route. And dragging other people along with you is going to take longer, right? Because everybody's at a different pace. But aren't group trips so special? Like, there's something magical about having a community and experiencing something with a community of people that you truly care about that's irreplaceable. You can't get that by yourself. And I know that because I've done the climb on my own. And it is lonely. And it sucks. And you get burnt out. And once you get there, you're like, okay, cool. And you recognize that once you are there, other people will talk to you about your success and be happy for you and give you your flowers and give you the applause and give you the attention, but for some reason it still feels so fucking lonely. It feels so fucking lonely. Like the moment that they stop, you might feel a little good for a little while, but then you realize that you're by your fucking self. And you don't have anyone there with you. And yeah, it's great that you made it, but like, what's the fucking point? When you don't have anyone near, like right by your side, what's the point? No one else is gonna know truly how hard you worked to get there. And if it was for the attention, when something bigger and better comes along, that's gonna take the attention. Think about celebrities, right? Think about celebrities and cancel culture for a second. Stick with me. Celebrities get a lot of attention, right? They have a lot of fans, they have a lot of cameras, interviewers, movies, TV shows for a certain period of time. And then there's other celebrities that become a household name for a lifetime. And what is the difference between the two types of celebrities? In my opinion, there are some celebrities that get a lot of attention, and then there are other celebrities that have a very strong connection, right? And when you think about cancel culture, even the second that a celebrity slips up, right? Everybody wants to cancel them. Nobody wants to deal with them anymore. Like they may have said something wrong or done the wrong thing. There's certain celebrities that that'll happen to, and then there's other celebrities that get forgiven. Why is that? From my perspective, it's because the celebrities that have a deep connection with their fan. I'm talking about the kinds of celebrities that go into crowds of sold out arenas, right? Knowing that they could get hurt. The celebrities that say fuck security and go up and hug their fans anyway. The celebrities that do the barricade walks. The celebrities that come outside of the venue and talk to their fans. The celebrities that maintain eye contact when a complete stranger is telling them how they saved their life. Those are the celebrities that get forgiven because they have a true connection with their fan base and with their audience, and they care about those people. Not the celebrities that just get attention. The attention is temporary, just like the applause. But the connection goes so much deeper and can last a lifetime. And that's why those celebrities don't get canceled. All of us are human, right? We all make mistakes. None of us are perfect. But the difference is that some of them are more humanized than others. And I bring that back around to even think about myself and the difference in how I was versus how I feel now. And I think that that's why I felt so ready to come back. I know I've been back for a little while now. It's not like this is my first rodeo, right? I've been back on the internet for a little bit. But I think I realized that I want a candle-like flame. That's what you should strive for. A candle is something that you can light time and time again. It's a slow burn. It's something that everyone can enjoy the smell of. It's warm. It'll light up a room. right? And it'll last you for a long time. A firework, on the other hand, is performative, it's exciting, and it only lasts for a short period of time. It comes in, it makes a huge impact. It's like boom in the sky, right? And then it fizzles and it goes away. And we always get the finale of the fireworks, right? And it's like big and exciting, and then everybody packs up their shit and they go home. I don't want to be a firework anymore. I don't think that we should strive for fireworks. And I think that that's what hustle culture does to us. Is it's trying to push us to be this firework. Perform, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Be great, be big, be boom in the sky. Make everyone look at you. Get to the top. Get to the highest point in the sky that you can. And then what? And I know this goes deep, and I know it's really scary. Like, if you sit with the kinds of questions that I have been asking, and you take away my story, and you think about just your own, it's scary. It might make you question your whole life and feel like you're sinking. But when I tell you it is worth it to dig that deep, it is so worth it. I questioned everything. I questioned myself. I questioned my career. I questioned where I lived. I questioned my own personality and everything that I love. I wonder if it had all just been taught to me. But now I feel like I'm floating, specifically with one of those blow up flamingos that you put in the pool. That's how I feel now. And I think it's because I've gotten the chance to meet my authentic self because I asked these questions. And I know it's literally so scary. It's so scary. Because you're going to feel like you're going to get lost. Like you literally could feel like you're drowning. And I'm not saying that you're going to be able to answer all these questions overnight, but I think that it is important to think about. And you're going to feel like you're alone, but I really hope that this episode is a clear example that you're not. And in case if it's not a clear example that you're not alone, I got one more page from the pivot year before we wrap up here, you guys, because Brianna Weiss is just that damn good. Okay, here we go. Day 81. You live in a world that tells you to work in 8-hour stretches, and that is productivity. You live in a world that tells you to devote 40 years of your life to a career that you are lukewarm about, and that is safety. You live in a world that tells you to surround yourself with as many people as possible, and that is connection. It's not. We've learned it's attention, by the way. You live in a world that tells you to pack your schedule with as much as you can, and that is fullness. You live in a world that aims to slowly lose what it is that makes you feel most alive, and that is responsibility. Of course you feel disillusioned. Of course it hurts. We have built a society that does not often cater to the layers, intricacies, and changes that a human soul phases through. You will have to learn to create your own universe within that world. And maybe, just maybe, the waves you initiate for yourself will touch someone else, will inspire another person to move in the same way. Maybe your life will be a lighthouse for the other aching hearts yearning to know that there is another way to walk through their years, that there is still hope amid it all. Is that not a perfect page to close out on? And that's the reason that I wanted to make this episode today, you guys. I always say it. I think that these are the important things that we should be talking about. I think these are the important questions. So if I can leave you with anything, it's that I urge you to ask yourself the questions. Go deep in the water. The water is yours. You can swim. You can always pull yourself out. And I really want to thank you guys so much for listening to this episode today, you guys. I am so grateful for this platform that I have. Like I always say, this feels like home. I feel so safe with you guys. I actually got a little choked up today. I almost cried, but I stopped myself. And I just could not be more thankful for your time and for you lending me your ear. And I really hope that you share this episode with a friend so you guys can have a conversation about it. I hope that you guys sit down in a park with a picnic blanket and stare at the sky and talk about this kinds of stuff, because it could truly become one of those moments that'll make life feel like it's worth living all over again. So, thank you guys so much for listening. I know the choice is yours of whether you're going to tune in or not, but the pleasure has been mine, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys next time. I love you so much. Bye.